Salute, Nick family. Welcome to the channel. Dope Soul Sports Talk, Dope Soul Knicks Talk, a member of the MBK family. Welcome to the Just Nickin' It show. I'm your host, Stephanie, aka Queen. Please. Uh-oh, hold on. Yeah, like I'm really discombobulated today. Um, but anyway, today we're gonna do the weekend review, which is basically the Knicks' first game. There's been some Twitter chatter, so I want to talk about that with the panel as well. But the first thing I want to do is I want to show some love because that's the Brooklyn way, that's the dope soul way. So shout out to Simeon Russell, the two events he put on at Legends, for the fans. We drove all the way from Washington, D.C. And then after the Knicks played, after the watch party, after the post game, he drove back to Washington, D.C. These are free events, but he's doing it because of the love of the fans, the love of the community. So shout out to Simeon Russell of NBK. I also want to shout out the Nick of Time show. If you didn't see it, we did a collab with them. Jay Ellis, Ryan G. I hope I get these names right. Lee Escobar and Ebony. Matt Nick fan on Twitter, also part of Venture Sports Network, was there. I also believe they have a morning show. A morning recap show. I think it's at 8 o'clock in the morning. Lee Escobar, Ebony, Matt, Matt Nick fans, and somebody else. So check them out at 8 o'clock. But be sure to be back for the 9 o'clock Knicks morning vibe recap show every day, every morning after the Knicks play. So I want to show love to them. And I also wanted to show love to State from Harlem, who give the Knicks fans the business on Twitter. But if you meet him in person, he's a great, great guy. And he was there last night, and I got a chance to chop it up with him. And I think one of the things I got from talking to State was just in this community, just being a bit more open to opinions that you disagree with. You could disagree with the take, but you don't have to dislike the person, So that's just what I want to, talk about briefly. He has a YouTube channel that he's starting, so that's going to be coming up soon. And again, we all have differences of opinion, but we all human. And once you meet us in person, it's really different. Like I tell you all the time, Paris be getting me tight. Paris Duggar getting me tight in the chat. Then when I met him, really, really nice, really, really nice guy. Anyway, enough of that. Let me bring in the panel. Ajay, Jerrell, Geoff. How you guys doing?
Fantastic. I ain't seen a crossover that good since Jamal Crawford, by the way. That KOT show was awesome.
Yeah, man. Salute everybody. Salute to the chat.
Salute Knicks family. Always a pleasure to be here and chopping it up with you guys and, of course, with the chat. Let's light this chat on fire like we do every Thursday. And don't forget to hit the like button as you come into the building.
As you come into the building. The chat to me, the panel and the chat makes the show. It just makes the show. So just know if you put something in the chat, is liable to come up on the screen. Okay, just know. So if it's not something you want to put hashtag chat only or something, just to let me know that that's just for the chat and don't put it up. Anyway, let's get into the first segment of the show. That's not it. Weekend review. And so I guess what I want to talk about first. Let's see. There we go. I got a few questions. Obviously, the only weekend review we could talk about is the Knicks' first game. So, just give me your overall thoughts on the game. If there's anything or anyone that stood out for you from the game. And I have a few more questions, actually, about the game. We'll just go around. Ajay, Jerrell, Geoff, we'll mix it up. Ajay,
on you.
Jerrell. Oh wait, hold up, Ajay. You gotta earn your. Sorry about that, Jerrell, Ajay, and then Jeff. Every
Damn.
time you come in lately,
Damn.
Ajay, you be at the top. What's up? What you
No,
doing?
no, don't worry, man. I'm gonna try to keep. I know one day with your condition, you're gonna forget and leave me up there.
Okay, how about that? I will go first. Cool. Yeah, I'm not gonna overreact. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
wait, hold up. One thing.
Okay.
Forgot. I totally forgot. I wanted to spread love. You know, I had a slide
Oh yeah.
for this very reason, and I saved it somewhere and I can't find it. Anyway, Lady and the Chef is in the chat. I wanted to shout them out as well and show them love. They were on the all women's panel that we did. Her and her mom. So that's Lady and the Chef, and her mom is Diva Locks. They have their own channel now called Two Knicks Chicks. I pinned the link to their channel to the top of the chat. So if you get an opportunity, click on the link, subscribe to the channel. Let's support all of the Knick community, as much as we can. I saw their first two videos. They're covering the Liberty and the Knicks. As far as I know, I'm not sure if they're covering anything else. I saw their first two videos live, actually. I didn't watch it live, but they were live on the WNBA, the finals, and they did a fantastic job. Mad calm, very insightful takes. So the Two Knicks Chicks, please click on the link at the top of the chat and subscribe to the channel. Lady and the Chef, Diva Locks, appreciate you. All right, Jerrell, now you could go.
Well, I'm quick to say, salute to Lady and the Chef. I met her on Saturday at Legends at the MBK event, and she's cool. She knows her stuff. She definitely knows basketball, and we pretty much just talked basketball for a couple hours. There was a dope event. So salute to Sim, salute to her, and salute to everybody that was there at Legends, and salute to Ajay for going to Legends yesterday. He showed up. I couldn't make it last night, but we had another Dope Soul panel member to go along with Steph last night.
That's right.
So we was good.
Yep.
So
he ate all my wings though too.
All the wings? You just gonna eat all the wings, Ajay?
I said, you want some wings? He was like, no, I'm just gonna eat what you have. I said, all right, no problem.
That's why she put you back down there. That was the real reason.
No, he did. He did buy another order. He wanted it.
Them wings is good though.
That's what I get for eating the wings, right?
Well, just to talk about the game real quick, we're just doing quick overviews real quick, nobody is specific.
Well, what stood out or who stood out for you, if you want to? Yeah.
I mean, the only thing that really stood out, the reason I'm not gonna get too, I'm not gonna get too crazy over the loss, because I actually do think Boston might be the number one seed in the East. They are a little short-handed, though, it seemed like all of their starters played a lot of minutes, and no way that is going to stay like that for the rest of the season. And KP is injury prone, but he did kill us last night. But yeah, we had a bad game from our two best players, and we couldn't hit a free throw to save our life. The refs seemed like they were a little against us in the fourth quarter, but I mean the fourth quarter, the whole second half, really, the refs was kind of wilding, but I don't want to make no excuses about that. We lost. I'm not gonna overreact. We got a game against Atlanta. I'm more worried about that now. But yeah, the Boston game, it's not going to be like that for the rest of the season. That was the healthiest they are going to be. All of their starters damn near played almost 40 minutes, and we lost with our two best players not having a good game. So I'm fine. I'm not going to overreact.
I mean, you bring up a good point. I mentioned this on the morning show. They really only 6 deep. Right. Those last three players played less than 14 minutes. So that means their starters pretty much have to play in that, with that second unit. They played a lot of minutes last night. And of the 6, KP, like you mentioned, is injury prone. And Al Horford is aging. Yeah. Can he play that many minutes throughout an 82-game season? That being said, they look tough.
They look
They
very
look
tough.
tough. They
Like
look
if they mess around and like get like a bench, like if they could get a couple more pieces, they're going to be a problem if they are healthy,
Right.
come playoff time.
Correct.
Ajay, now it's your go.
Now's my
Yeah,
turn.
now it's your,
Well,
come on now. Come on now.
so as tough as they look, I think we could be just as tough with them. We look just as tough to them because we have our two best players didn't play well at all. I mean, Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson bombed out, and somehow, some way, we were still it. And the bad calls. Jerrell, we're not making excuses, but we have to point out when the refs don't do their jobs. Okay, the refs' job is not to determine the outcome of the game. Not saying they did, but you really shouldn't affect the game in a way that
Right.
people are questioning what you're doing. With all that, we were still in the game with 30 seconds left. We still had the opportunity to make a game to steal that one. So they look tough, but I ain't scared of them. All right, I think we could go head to head, toe to toe with them. So I have one thing that stand out to me is Tom Thibodeau. He is known for riding the guys like his superstars or his best players. Yesterday he didn't do that. Yesterday he stuck with the hot hands. He stuck with the guys who were producing, who were performing. Even though listen, minute distribution, like it seems pretty even, but on a typically, if let's say Julius Randle was having a bad game, he would still have him play 40 minutes, or he would still have him, call plays for him until I don't know. He continued to beat that dead horse. But yesterday, I think he pretty much let IQ run. He let RJ run. He let the guys. Isaiah Hartenstein was played better. Was playing pretty good. Not better than Mitch. Mitch was in foul trouble. He was. iHeart was playing pretty good, so he let him run. He allowed these guys to to run on the court to do what they do. So I think that's one thing that's not something he would typically do. Tom Thibodeau.
Yeah, I noticed that as well. They still close though. I mean, you still have to close with your best players because you have to believe that at some point they're going to turn it around. And even if they don't, they'll be ready for the next game. So they still closed.
Yeah, but the unit that kind of brought us back in the game, so he was
Right,
riding
correct.
that unit for a while,
Yes.
for a hot minute. So that was
Yeah.
that was atypical of him.
Yeah. Jeff?
I don't know. I guess it wasn't the fact that we lost the game. I kind of expected that Boston might beat us, but it was how we lost the game that kind of, so that I never sleep well after a Knick loss. It's just and it's just all those things, those little things, they just bother me. I mean, and the call against Brunson for the technical was head scratching in my mind. Not the reason we lost, but I mean that's still up to a 5-point swing in a 4-point game. So not there were other missing a dozen free throws. There was a lot to clean up. Let's just put it that way. And not to be overlooked is that between Robinson and Hartenstein, they had 9 points and 9 fouls. We got to clean that up. And I don't know. I'd have to look at the tape. I don't know if those fouls were because we weren't doing a good job at the point of attack or if it just was that KP was unguardable. I didn't get to see, especially most of the first half, but and I was able to follow it on my phone, but I can't. Obviously, if you're doing that, you can't see, each play and say, well, this is what caused that foul. This is what caused that foul. So, but from that standpoint, that's really troublesome, especially when KP had 30 and 8 and 4 blocks, and between Horford and KP, they were 7 of 12 from 3. I mean, I think the entire rest of the Boston team was like 5 of 27 or something like that from out there. So really, we kind of caught a break because other than those two, they didn't really shoot the ball from deep that well. They shot it well from inside the arc, which was kind of the opposite of what we did. But just a puzzling performance by the Knicks and the inability to make shots around the rim. We shot the ball fantastic from 3-point range until the last 3 minutes of the game. We missed 5 key 3-pointers down the stretch. Pretty good looks, especially the one that Grimes missed. I thought that was a great look. So, is anything of that surprising in game one? I don't know, not necessarily, but we're not going to survive too many games if Brunson has a lot of games like that. We need Brunson to be our closer. We need him to be making shots. And I don't know if it was FIBA fatigue or a lack of playing time in the preseason or what it was, but he played decent in the second and third quarter, but he wasn't the sharp Jalen Brunson that we got used to seeing last year. And I don't know if that was because of Drew Holiday or if it was just him being a little bit out of sorts or pressing, or, it's too small a sample size, one game, to really see one way or the other. But with the Hawks coming up, I'm really interested to see how he bounces back and what he does for an encore, what we see from him moving forward.
It may, Jeff, it may take a few games. I mean, if you think about it, he played 30 minutes in the preseason, maybe 35 minutes in the preseason. He didn't play a lot, so it may take him a few games before he get it together, because he was getting to his spots, but the shots was just falling short, right at the rim. So it seems like he's off a little bit. And I wouldn't be surprised if it takes him a few games. Now, he's a proud guy. He's not going to say FIBA was an issue. He's not going to not even say it. I don't think he believes it. He doesn't believe not playing in the preseason was an issue. And his expectation is that he'll be back for Atlanta, and I'm sure Randall too. Both of them are feeling like, I'm going to be sharp for Atlanta. But it's possible it may take a few games. Anybody, what's your thoughts on that?
With our schedule, I sure hope it doesn't take a few games. we got too big a gauntlet of games to be taking a week and a half to get back into, the groove, so to speak. But I'm not overly concerned about it. I mean, even as poorly as they played, we lost by 4. I mean, those two, I thought the team played pretty well overall. I thought the defense was good. Even if one of them has a good game in the next one and everything else kind of repeats itself, I feel like we've got a winning formula. And then if they both get it going, look out. So I don't know. I don't want to make excuses for them. I don't believe in moral victories, and I don't also care about ugly wins. I think I'm a results merchant. However you do is how you do. So, play better tomorrow and play better Saturday.
Yeah, no doubt about it. What stood out for me is, like everyone is talking about, we lost the game by 4.
Right.
Despite the fact that Randall and Brunson didn't shoot well. And that I'm a little encouraged by that. I get the no moral victories. I get that on paper, Boston is a better team than we are. They are. But it's possible that as time goes on, our depth may win out. Boston may get injured, and even if they don't, we may do okay against this team. The other thing that stood out was RJ Barrett. And so I'm just going to move into the next question for the panel.
Okay.
Were you impressed or at least encouraged by what you saw from RJ Barrett? Do you think he's primed to take a leap this season? Or do you think we should just pipe down? Is one game you need to see more? What's your thoughts on RJ Barrett?
I mean, he scored 24 points, but he still shot like 40%. So yeah, I wasn't overly impressed with RJ. It almost seemed like just because I don't know. I think a lot of people thought he had a good game just because Brunson and Randall didn't. Maybe he looked better than them, but yeah, he was what 8 for 20, 40% from the three. That was good, obviously, and I think he was one of the few people that was making his free throws last night. That's why he looked like he was a better player too.
6 or 7.
Yeah, okay, 6 or 7. So yeah, just because of that, yeah, he had a good game because of those factors. But the stuff that we wanted RJ to improve on, I don't really see that much of an improvement. Mainly the shooting part. So I wasn't overly impressed, but it's not like,
Wow.
not down him either. But he wouldn't say a good game. Yeah.
Did you see? I saw a few times when he shot the ball off the dribble. I thought that was a little, a little different than the usual catch and shoot and or drive
Mhm.
to the basket. So I was encouraged by that. But if I'm hearing you correct, Jerrell, 24 points. He's 8 for 20. I need to see more before
Right.
I start talking about a breakout season and things. Okay. All right.
8 for 20. I mean, he only has 3 rebounds. Maybe RJ rebounds better than that. He's going to average more than 3 rebounds a game. His defense was okay. It wasn't, I didn't think he was a cone or anything like that, but it's not like he locked anybody down either, really. So it was just this should be the floor for RJ for me. Like I expect him to actually shoot better than this. I don't expect him to go 8 for 20 almost every game. He's going to shoot better than that. At least take better shots than that because he was missing some stuff, just like Randall was. He was missing bunnies. Both of them were, like around the rim, especially Randall. And we'll get to him later, I guess.
Okay. All right. Geoff and then Ajay.
I think that he was 6 of 15 inside the arc. That's that's bad. Like that is highly inefficient. He had 24 points on 20 shots. Did he look better? I didn't see the first half but from what I've heard that he kind of kept us in the game. But his ancillary stats weren't amazing. His shooting percentage wasn't great. I mean, are we really just going to say he's taken a leap because he wasn't awful? I mean, he was okay. He was, not great, not stellar, but not terrible. Not as bad as Brunson and Randall, I guess. So, I mean, but they, we all agree that they were pretty much terrible. So, I mean, that's a pretty low bar to cross, but I don't feel like last night's performance showed that he crossed some kind of Rubicon and is some different player than the one that we saw last year. And down the stretch when he came back in the game, did he make a big clutch play that helped us win the game? I mean, nobody else did either, so you can't just pin it on him. But it's not like he came back in the game and was, he missed his 2 3-point attempts in the last 2.5 minutes, just like Brunson did. And so, maybe that's harsh, but he was okay. But I'm not ready to say that he's a changed man or anything.
Steph, you muted.
Wow. I feel so different actually, but I'm gonna let Ajay go. I tend to agree with Vince Jackson. The best plays for the Knicks last night was Quickley and RJ. I'm not gonna say y'all need to stop. I ain't gonna say that part, but I do think they were the best players for the Knicks. But that's different than saying he's gonna take a leap, right? That's different. Right.
I agree. I agree with that statement that they were the best players last night, mainly because the other guys didn't play well.
Okay?
Right. So I mean, it's relative. It's all by comparison. Thank you. It's all by comparison, right? So RJ had like I said, a good game because The other guys have a good, but this is not a leap. This is typical RJ Barrett. I mean, we've seen RJ for the last 4 years. This is what he does. He'll have a good game. He'll have 2, 3 good games, and then he's inconsistent. Then the next game he'll shot like 2 for 15 or something. So can he have good games? And he's RJ Barrett, so he's always been a scorer. He's always put up points. We need him to be more efficient at doing it, right? We need him to take less shot to like Emmanuel Quickley had a very efficient game yesterday. Okay. And
Emmanuel Quickley shot the leather off the ball. I
yeah,
don't know if we're
I mean,
gonna
he was-
expect that. I mean,
no,
he
no,
was
we
otherworldly.
but I'm saying this is nothing that RJ Barrett hasn't done in the past. He's done that before. He's had good games. He's had games that he's taken over. But then can he do that consistently throughout the season? That's what we need to see. If he can do that, it's not a leap, but it's a step in the right direction.
Well, I wasn't trying to say that from what I saw last night was a leap. I guess the question was, from what you saw last week, do you think he's primed for a leap? And what I'm hearing from the rest of you is not really. He's had games like this where he looked really good.
Yeah.
And then, it didn't last. I feel a little different in the sense that I think RJ Barrett is always going to be efficient. So to me, I'm not looking at efficiency from RJ Barrett. He wasn't a good shooter in Duke. When his draft profile was that he wasn't a good shooter. The first 5 years in the NBA, he really hasn't been an efficient shooter. He did have the 1 year where he shot better. I'm not sure. I'm not expecting that from RJ Barrett. What I'm looking for RJ Barrett is his floor game, his decision making, taking the right shots, reading the floor, basically playing basketball. I was encouraged by what I saw from RJ Barrett, both offensively and defensively. And listen, I agree with you in the sense that he's had good games before. He's looked good before. So the jury is still out as opposed, to, is this who he's gonna be every night, or is this just one of those games? Did he cross over and we can expect this RJ Barrett every night? But in that first quarter, we were down 30-18. It was RJ Barrett. In the second quarter, it was RJ Barrett and Quickley, and not just the scoring, but the decision making. Like I looked at the first half today. RJ Barrett had the ball in his hands. He's coming down the court. Before, automatic, he's about to barrel his way to the basket. But no, he passed it to the wing. He got into the lane. He passed it out for a 3-point shot. So to me, it just seems like his game is maturing. He only took 5 3-pointers. He's probably now saying he should have took more, but I was happy with the fact that he only took 5 because I don't see him as a 3-point shooter, and he hit 2 of those 5. So I don't know. He just seemed to me like somebody who's found himself, and he hit 2 shots off the dribble. All right, it was only 2, but I didn't really see any of that, up until now. So I was encouraged by what I saw from RJ Barrett. I think that if he continues to play this way, I think it definitely raises, and we'll get to Quickley, and we can go back and forth. And obviously, Quickley played well also, but for me, I don't want to downplay RJ Barrett. I thought he was really, really good last night. And I have to go back over the stats. It could be that he had a poor quarter that brought his, shooting percentage down. I'll have to look at that. But for me, I was encouraged by what I saw from RJ Barrett. Even on the defensive end, he was solid. I saw something on Twitter where I haven't double checked this, where Tatum didn't shoot as well on the possessions in which RJ Barrett was guarding him. Let me tell you something. Tatum is that dude. Tatum, he's just on another level. His bag is deep.
Unguardable.
And he was on one last night. He
Was
had
on
every
one.
trick in the every trick in his top hat was working yesterday.
You know the worst part? He ain't even break a sweat.
He didn't look like he was sweating at all.
He's
Nope.
sweating.
No.
Nope. Unguardable.
Unguardable. So I for me personally, I was encouraged, but I agree with the rest of the panel in the sense that he's had games like this. He's even had stretches like this. Let's see if this is who he is for the rest of the season. I think that's that's fair. Let's talk a little bit about Emmanuel Quickley. He didn't get the extension. Came out last night poised. Like he could have easily come out and say, "I'm about to drop 80 right now." Let everybody know they should have signed me to an extension. But he was in control. You know, I thought he set up when he needed to set up. Now he took some shots, you know, off the dribble that because it went in, you know, it looked good. Had it not went in, we would have been like, what? I'm just gonna come down and pull up and take that shot. But it went in, you know. He looked good. There was a play where Randall was calling for the ball. He was like, no, you go over there. And I think he passed it, you know, to Brunson. So I like what I saw from Emmanuel Quickley. Like I said on the morning show, I don't blame the front office for not signing him. I don't blame the front office for any front office from saying, I want to see more. They have to understand that when they see more, they're going to have to pay for it. They have to understand that, you know, that possibility. And I'm sure that they do. So, yeah, if RJ and Quickley continue to play the way they played, the Knicks are definitely a better team. Definitely a better team. But just thoughts on IQ in last night's game.
I loved him. I mean, it's easy to love. I mean, he was hot, so it makes a difference. But some of the things that I liked, I thought his pick and roll game was pretty good. I thought he chose his spots pretty well, using the pick to kind of get that step back three. I think he did that 2 or 3 times the other night, and so that I really liked. He just looked under control. And you know what? The new CBA is going to squeeze out the middle class, and so the bet the Knicks are making is the same. Is they want Quickley to bet on himself. And look, if he shows out and he performs and he does what he's capable of doing and what he's doing now, I don't think the Knicks have a problem writing him a check. Right. I don't think it was an issue of the Knicks were like, we don't want to pay this guy. Like, it wasn't like Mark Cuban not wanting to give Jalen Brunson the 4 years, $60 million or whatever. I don't think it's that. I think the Knicks were probably willing to go up to 19, but I think he wants 20 to 25. And I think he wants to show that he's worth that. And then I think the Knicks front office is like, go show us that you can, you know, that you're worth that. Give us another year and give us a playoffs where you do that so we can be comfortable paying you that $25 million. And you know what? If he doesn't show out, that middle class is going to squeeze, and those contracts offers may not be there for that kind of money. And so, you know, it'll be interesting to see where it was, but Quickley did everything we wanted him to do. Everything. He was the best player on the floor for us last night, easily. And I think you might see that on multiple nights. And I think that's kind of, he's in a good role for him. I think he's going to see similar minutes distribution, somewhere between 26 and 30 a night. And that's probably going to cut into guys like DiVincenzo's minutes, guys like Grimes' minutes, guys like Barrett's minutes. But look, the guy shows that he deserves to be on the floor. He plays great off the ball defense. And when he's when he's scoring and playmaking like he was last night, it's tough not to have him out there.
Yeah. Anybody else on IQ?
Well, I always say like comparison, right? Because it's all relative. Like you got to see what they do with other players. I don't understand how they were able to preemptively sign RJ Barrett to that contract, and then they having such a hard time trying to figure out. I mean, they know who Emmanuel Quickley is. They know what he can do. I don't understand. I just don't get it. I mean, if you were able to sign RJ Barrett, like before he was eligible to be signed, you give him an extension. I don't see. I just don't understand why they have such a hard time extending Emmanuel Quickley. I don't get it.
Salute, Smoking Nick. Appreciate you dropping by.
Nick. So
I want, and I've said this before. I wonder if that gave them pause. Signing RJ Barrett, trying to do a course control, and then RJ Barrett had the season he had. Maybe they said, you know what? Let's start going to restricted free agency with these guys.
Let's not make the same mistake again.
Yeah. You know, because when it was the same thing with Randall as well. They were betting on the future when they gave Randall that contract. They were betting on the future when they gave RJ Barrett that contract. Maybe they're saying Quickley is good. We offered him 17, 18 million because that's who he is right now. Maybe they didn't want to bet on the future of what he could be. Maybe there's some salary cap potential down the road stuff that we're not privy to. I'm not sure. But if he continues to play like this, they're going to have to pay him. Period.
Or he could be getting his trade value up.
Yeah, that's true.
And one of the reasons, one of the reasons maybe they didn't pay him is because if they did pay him, they wouldn't have been able to trade him because of the poison pill, right? So
yeah, so maybe they were trying to keep their flexibility.
Yeah, so I see why. I actually think maybe that's why they didn't pay him. I don't think it has anything to do with obviously how he played last night. IQ is IQ. He's going to have games like that. He's going to have games where he missed everything. Like he's just inconsistent. That's just how he is. He's a streaky shooter. But when he's on, he looks like, one of the best shooters in the league. But when he's off, you look at him like, what the hell are you doing? Like, why did you shoot that? So that's just how he is. And I actually think, they probably did not pay him because it leaves them a lot of flexibility when it comes to making a trade this year. So I always said that Dante DiVincenzo is probably his replacement. I don't want IQ to leave, but it was kind of like the writing on the wall when you bring another guard in here that pretty much do exactly what he does, same size and everything. So I don't know. I kind of think it's because of flexibility, not because of, like cap stuff.
Okay. Yeah. I wonder when they brought DiVincenzo in, was it because they know they're going to move him?
Right.
Or just in case something happens, they have a backup.
Yeah, I think it's probably a little bit of both. And plus DiVincenzo, he's a cheap replacement. So.
Right. Anybody else? Everybody spoke on IQ? Yeah. All right. Any concern at all about Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle? I don't go on Twitter a lot, but I was on Twitter today and scrolling.
Don't do that, Steph. Go back.
Don't do that.
And scrolling through. I didn't see a lot of Brunson. I don't want to say hate. I didn't see a lot of Brunson talk, but I saw a lot of Randle talk today on Twitter. And I'll leave it at that. Any thoughts on any concern on Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle this season?
Nah, man. I guess I'll go first. No, like I don't know. I said I wasn't going to overreact on the loss. It's almost like me saying I'm not going to overreact on their bad games because those are the only reason that we lost. It's because they didn't have good games. That and free throw shooting in general, there are little things that happened that made us lose that game. But the fact that Jalen Brunson and Randall played like that. That was the real reason we lost. So I don't expect both of them to. For one, I don't even know if I expect them to have a bad game at the same time. Like, it really didn't happen that often
Right.
last year. I could see if one of them was off, but both of them at the same time, and almost came away with the victory against Boston.
Hmm.
That doesn't, I don't want to overreact on just because they had a bad game. I don't expect them to play like that for the rest of the season. No way. Because if they do play like that for the rest of the season, we are in trouble. And all of our predictions were terribly wrong. All of
Right.
it. Like, nobody expect us to have the record that we're going to have if they both play that badly and on a consistent basis. No way.
Right. Not a word of really. I don't consider IQ a bad.
I didn't think he
Yeah.
played that. I guess, yeah, none of us thought he played bad on defense. That's why we didn't mention it.
Right. Yeah. Um. Anybody else? Jeff concerned about Randall and Brunson at all?
No, it's like I said at the outset, it was just a strange game because if I had told you ahead of time that Julius was going to have 7 assists and 0 turnovers, but he wasn't going to shoot the ball well, nearly everybody would have signed up for that, I think.
11 rebounds too.
Yeah. But all 11 rebounds, I guess, were in the first half. And he just was like stubbornly going to the rim and not finishing. And so it's kind of the anti-RJ in that his process was bad, right? That's one of the things that we say when one of the reasons we liked the game that RJ had despite his inefficiency, because his process was good. And so I think the reverse, I guess, is true. And RJ hit his free throws, and Randall was 1 for 5. So,
Right.
He opened himself up for criticism there, especially that miss late, because, that makes it a 2-possession game instead of a 1-possession game. That's a massive deal right there. But no, I'm not concerned. I mean, it kind of stinks that they both had bad games at the same time. But I mean, look, sometimes guys have bad games, and I wouldn't be surprised if maybe he wasn't pressing just a little bit. I think he had a bad playoffs. I think I'm going to show him. I'm going to come in. I'm going to, and then he was 1 for 7. And how that's kind of, you start missing, and then you start pressing, and then you start missing more. And then because Brunson's game arc was a little bit different. Brunson was equally bad in the first quarter, but then in the second and third, he kind of, found his way a little bit, as opposed. But again, Randall hit a big three in that fourth quarter. Randall hit a big 3 in that fourth quarter. When he hit that triple, I was like, oh, I think we're going to win this game, and then, like, did he really touch the ball down the stretch? I mean, I don't remember in the last 2 minutes really. I mean, other than missing the free throw, I don't remember him having a lot of shots in the last couple minutes when we blew the lead. I'm not saying he was good. I mean, obviously his field goal shooting speaks for itself. It was atrocious, but you can shoot poorly and still have a decent game. But I don't think I hear anybody saying that.
I think he only took 3 I think he only took 3 shots in that fourth quarter. He wasn't super aggressive. I think he just was probably just gave in the sense like, I'm not shooting well, so I'm not going to try to be the center in this fourth quarter to try to close this out.
Right.
So I don't know. Like I said, really weird game. I'm not going to hit the panic button on this one. Let's let them get into the groove of the season and see what happens. If we're 10 and 15 games in and we're 2 and 13 because both of these guys are stinking up the joint night in, night out, then that's a different conversation. But for one game against a really good Boston team who's pretty stout defensively, I'm not going to kill them, either one of them.
Yeah. Ajay, are you concerned about either one of them?
Nope. And the odds are like we'll never see that this whole season. And as a matter of fact, I'm kind of glad they got it out. They got it out early. I'm glad that it's not a playoff game that they both had such bad games. Get it out the way early. Okay, the one bad game that both Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson have bad games. It already happened, and I don't think we're gonna see that again the rest of the season. So no, I'm not worried about them. I'm not worried about Julius Randle's ankle. I saw no sign that he's slowing down. He's slowing down because of his ankle.
Right.
None. So it's just a bad game. It happens. And I saw no sign that Jalen Brunson was tired from FIBA or none of that stuff. Maybe they should have played more in the preseason to get tuned up, man. I'm just saying.
You just go blame Tibbs about something, right?
No, see, Jerrell.
You have to blame Tibbs about something.
I'm just saying.
Legends. They ain't ready. I told you they ain't ready.
I know.
I'm just saying. Isaiah Roby didn't have to play all these minutes because we knew he was gonna get rid of him. Give Juju some burn.
Yeah, I get it.
Salute Kerry Cox. Yeah, I'm not concerned either. I'm not concerned, not one iota. I'm just not. I can't see those guys falling off and not being the players they were for us last season because of one game. And yeah, people was pointing this out on Twitter as well. Yes, there was one time that Randall could have swung the ball to Grimes, who was wide open in the corner. It happens every time. I shouldn't say it happens every time. It does happen where your best player gets the ball and they take the shot and other players are open. I see it all the time. I agree. The right play is to make that extra pass and pass it to the open player. But I can't tell you how many times I've seen that. The ball stops with the best player and other players are open and they shoot it. It happens. So some people are saying it's a process thing. He didn't see him. He's not playing the game well. It happens. Watch any game, any NBA game. Watch the ball stop with the star players and other guys are open. They decide whether they want to pass it, make that extra pass, or whether they're going to shoot it. Geoff, you wanted to say something?
Well, what's crazy is I've heard a lot about. I heard a lot of complaints about the lack of offensive creativity and all of those sorts of things. But the Knicks had 25 assists and shot 37%. So we had more assists last night than Boston did.
Right.
So I think if we're getting 25 assists in a game, that's pretty good. I mean, I don't know what our numbers were last year, but I would even say that was an uptick. And it's tough to get 25 assists when you can't hit water if you fall out of a boat, like we, So
we're gonna have to change your name. We got to find another name for you, Geoff, because you bring all these quotes and all these sayings. I'll figure it out.
But so I just think it's interesting that the ball movement and all of those things get criticized on a night when the ball moved okay. I mean, we're not the peak Warriors, but we don't shoot like the peak Warriors either. So I mean, there's that, but 25 assists for that game and what 25 assists I think on 36 made shots. It's pretty good assist percentage.
Right. Randall has 7 assists and no turnovers, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And I think Brunson had 7 assists and 2 turnovers.
6
Something
assists,
like
2 turnovers. He had 3 steals, too. 2 of them he caught right in the like an interception in football, right? He had 2 of them. He just caught it right in the air. But yeah, they'll be better. I'm not concerned. They're gonna lead this team. And if we can get an RJ and IQ, I mean, listen, RJ and IQ were our 3rd and 4th best players last season. as well, whether you had IQ3 or RJ3. But if they're sharper, the Knicks are better. You know, the Knicks are better.
I think if Randall didn't have them Skechers on, we win the game. How about that? Like, let's just get it off the game real quick because they both had bad games. Take them damn Skechers off.
Jerrell, like in all seriousness, I think it's the hair, bro.
You think it's the hair?
Yeah.
Cornrow Juju will never be back.
No, Buckwheat Juju was
Buckwheat Juju.
Yeah.
Unstoppable. Had some good games. Unstoppable. I get it. So
it's like Samson.
He's like Samson, man. Right. The strength's in the hair.
Now we got Choir Boy Juju.
Right. Yeah. He'll be okay.
Can't buy a bucket.
Right. This is what I'll say about the ankle. Twice he drove hard to the rim and the ball slipped out of his hands. And that change of direction when he was dribbling to get to the, the middle of the lane, I didn't see any lack of mobility or anything. I said, well, he about to bang it right now. Right. But it slipped out of his hand. So I don't really think the ankle is a issue.
Julius Randle dunked on Muscala in the preseason. Like, his ankle is fine. Like, he tried a reverse layup, like you said, change the direction real quick and just missed the shot. Like, I don't think it's kind of a little bit of an excuse with the ankle. I think his ankle is fine.
Yeah, I think so too.
Just had a bad game. It happens.
Yeah. Knicks, come on. So we got this is the first time I'm hearing it. So for me, I thought Randall did a good job not forcing it in that fourth quarter because he wasn't having a good game. Knicks 100 GM feels that Randall gave up. And it just goes to show how we can look at the same thing and interpret it different. I didn't get the sense that Randall gave up last night. I just got the sense that he wasn't going to force it.
And plus, in the fourth quarter, Jalen Brunson is the person who usually has the ball and try to take over the game anyway. Like, I don't expect Randall to do that. He didn't do that last year, not in the fourth quarter. Like, he wasn't ultra aggressive in the fourth quarter last year all season. Jalen Brunson was. But Jalen Brunson had a terrible game too, so
He really did. Yeah, he really did. All right. So as far as the officiating, the call on Jalen Brunson, the flopping call, they reviewed it and they said it should have been a foul on Tatum. It should have been a flagrant one on Tatum. Doesn't help us now
at all,
but it would have helped us then because now you got Brunson. He was 0 for 1 though, going to the line for 3 shots, and we get the ball.
Steph, when he missed that shot, that's when I knew it was over. I was like, it's over. As soon as he missed that shot, because that was his only free throw of the game.
Yeah.
And Jalen Brunson, he gets to the line. He knows how to get to the line. He didn't get through the free throw line all game, and the one shot that he had, he missed it.
Yeah. That was Now, I don't know if that was Boston knowing he likes to get to the line and being very diligent about finding, not fouling him, whether that's just another indication that Brunson was just off his game. Because you're right, he gets to the line about 6 times a game, something like that.
Yeah, it was different.
Yeah.
Can you really be diligent about not fouling? Like, you don't foul on purpose. You
could be more disciplined though.
Yeah, but usually when you're more disciplined, you pay because the guy scores at will when you show more discipline. I don't know. I'm just asking.
And people foul on purpose all the time. Actually.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, I know. Like the hacker X.
No, I mean just regular defense. They be fouling, just trying to get away with stuff. You know what I'm saying? They're fouling them on purpose. Like, it was a couple times Randall didn't get a call last night. They seemed like they was trying to foul him and they wouldn't call it.
I'm just tired of the apology tour from the officials when they blow a call. It seems like we get about 10 of those I'm sorry notes a year. you know, like, and we have replay to get this stuff right, allegedly. So why not, you know, use the tools and make the correct call at the time? Why do we have to, you know, if you know, especially at that point, it should have been a flagrant. I mean, that's a massive. I mean, think about it. We were up 2, and Tatum hits 2 out of 3 free throws and ties the game. Instead of that, if you know, like you said, 2 shots on the ball, and we even extended the lead to 6 points after that point. So if we're up 5 instead of even when we extend the lead, if you're up 11, ball game's over. I don't care. You know, hit the 3, have a couple free throws. You know, you're up 11, a 15-5 run, you still lose by 1, according to my math. So,
Right.
You know, that's not the reason that we lost, but it sure didn't help. You know,
Right.
and that's a massive blunder, and it's an avoidable one. That's what's so frustrating. And oh, sorry, don't even do the "we blew it" report, because guess what? We already know. We already know you blew the call. We watched the game. We understand the rule. We know you blew the call. You don't have to. What you know, is it to patronize us that you're going to say that? Is it? I mean, what's the point? It's not like it's going to change the result. So, you know, if you want to do something when the game is live, you stop the action. You get the call right. But
Right.
you know, if you're not going to do that, why do we have replay to begin with? Just get rid of it if you're just going to keep the bad call anyway.
Jeff,
Well, why didn't Tibbs challenge the call though?
that's there you go.
Could he have?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a foul. You could challenge. You could challenge a foul. You could challenge offensive foul.
Yeah, why he didn't challenge the call? What's going on the bench? You
I don't
know,
There has to be a reason. Like, did anybody hear? I didn't see the press conference, like post-game press conference. I'm sure if he was able to challenge that, somebody probably asked him that. I'm not sure.
yeah.
But Jeff, I mean, you're being, you know, very professional and politically correct, saying that's not the reason why we lost the game. Well, that is the reason why we lost the game. That's one of the reasons why we lost the game, because of that call. That was a turning point.
Yeah.
That was a major blown call. Okay, I mean, we can't get it back, but I'm not gonna, you know, bail the refs out and say that's not the reason. Yeah, that is one of them. If there are 5 reasons why we lost the game,
Nick Yak's comment is on point too.
Yeah.
That verticality stuff.
Yes,
And
that's
they
another
reviewed
one.
that.
That was another
that.
one. He went up this way and landed the same way. I mean, like, straight up. And they reviewed it and still got it wrong. I mean, the refereeing was one of the reasons why we lost the game.
Yeah. Shout out to Sharice Duncan putting in her 2 cents. We appreciate you. Nah, we lost the game because we couldn't make free throws.
That is why I thought we lost.
53.8%.
That was one of the reasons, but the rest was one of them too.
Yeah, but that was the main reason, though. They free, Ajay. They free.
Jerrell,
Like,
there are many reasons, right? And I
Yeah.
can't, free throws was absolutely one of them. Okay. Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson not playing well is another one of the reasons, but the refereeing was another reason why we lost the game. There are a few reasons.
Yeah,
There were 2 other calls in the final minute that the NBA admitted that they blew. There was a travel in the last minute by Boston that didn't get called, and there was another one too. I forget. I saw that. I saw it on Twitter earlier, but it escapes my memory now. But so, I mean, but like I said, there are a million reasons we lost the game, and it's there's more plays than that play in the course of it's a 48-minute game. Don't come out flat and be down 30-18 in the first quarter, and you're going to win the game too. So it's a whole continuum of things. So you can't just blame that, is all I'm saying. As you said, we had our 2 best players couldn't shoot. We couldn't make free throws. We had all these calls go against us, and we still only lost the game by 4. That's the truly incredible part. You had all of those things go against you, and it's still a 4-point game.
Right.
Yeah, no doubt. I want to shout out Brooklyn Butch, who I met last night at Legends. Appreciate you, brother. Stopping by and chatting it up, a little bit. Always a pleasure to meet people from the chat. You guys get an opportunity. We'll be at the game November, I believe it's November 1st at Madison Square Garden versus Cleveland. If I'm not mistaken, there'll be a pregame at Legends. There'll be a postgame at Legends. So if you guys come out for the pre and the post, even if you don't have tickets to the game, you can have a watch party right there and watch the game because we'll be coming back. Salute to you, Brooklyn Butch. Appreciate you stopping by. Yeah, I want to know why Tibbs didn't challenge the call.
Got me.
Maybe they didn't see it, but maybe because it was a flopping call.
Didn't see it.
They didn't, see that he landed on Tatum's foot. Like,
seems like there got to be a reason.
Queen, they see it. Somebody on that bench, their job is to look for those goals. So, somebody's watching. There's somebody. They have one person in that staff has the tablet. They go back to the play and let Tibbs know whether he should challenge it.
But flopping is not reviewable. So it's possible that when they saw the call but you know what? That may have been why they couldn't challenge.
Yeah, they probably. That's why I asked, could he challenge it? Because
it's flopping. Is flopping? Can you challenge that?
I'm thinking maybe.
I don't know. It's also new. I don't even know.
Right. That's true.
And
that's right, because it wasn't really a foul on Jalen Brunson, right?
That wasn't the call. The call was flopping. Yeah.
And forget the tablets, Ajay. They had it like on the jumbotron.
Yeah,
like they actually showed the replay, like on TV and the jumbotron. Everybody knew that he landed on his foot. And
I'm wondering, did the IQ call come first? Because he lost the IQ call. He might not even have had a challenge.
Okay, so that's what it is. I think
did the IQ call come first? That verticality call?
I'm not sure. Because once you lose a challenge, you can't challenge anymore. That's it.
Right. And I'm not even sure it was challengeable in the first place. Because it's flopping. Yeah, we'll have to
so we up there killing Tibbs for no reason.
Right.
Listen, that's the kind of season that's game one.
That's good, Brooklyn Butch. I'll see you again. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was saying that. Think about it. This is game one of the season, and we haven't been talking so much about the refs. That's the kind of season we're gonna be having, man.
Actually, I know some people said Tibbs need to be fired
from yesterday's game.
Just from yesterday's game, yes.
Some people are worse than me.
Yes.
Twitter
was a madhouse last night and today. Yes. He's supposed to be fired.
Oh boy. That is that is funny.
But Jerrell, I'm curious. What reason? Like why Tibbs need to be fired?
Just because of the stuff that he does that they don't want him to do. That's all. It's like little stuff. Like he taking this person out, putting that back in. Maybe that challenge. Different reasons they wanted him gone just because we lost that game. People just mad because of the loss.
Damn.
Wow.
With two of his best players playing like that.
Yeah.
And the free throws, like he can go up there and make them.
That's what did State say? I don't know if y'all watched the post game. State said that they missed shot. That's the coach's fault. You got to put him in position. You got to put him in position.
State be all over the place. Salute to State though. I like State.
Salute to State.
State be like, this roster is trash, but we definitely making the playoffs.
No, the Eastern Conference Finals.
We making the Eastern Conference Final. This roster is trash though. It's unbalanced. Like what? Like okay,
right.
All good though.
Let's hit the like button, or as we like to call it here, the AJ button. We got 100 in the chat. We got 58 likes. That's a free way to help the channel. That's a free way to help the channel. and also sharing it on the social. And shout out to everybody those who do share the show. I do see it on Twitter. I appreciate you for sharing the show, sharing parts of the show on Twitter. That does help. That does help the show. All right. Anything else about the game before we move on?
Burn the tape.
Brooklyn Butch said he
Burn the
couldn't
tape.
challenge that call because there was no call on that play. It was a tech on Brunson.
Yeah, it was not. Yeah, it was
But
not.
after they came down and scored, then Brunson got to tech. Yep. Yeah, you're right. It wasn't.
Okay.
Yes, X, Greg. You're right. Not Twitter. X. Yeah, it's gonna take me some time. Y'all know my
I'm
condition.
calling it Twitter. Don't nobody call it X. So what do you call the actual things you put out? X's or tweets? Like it's still Twitter. Don't nobody call it that.
Oh boy. All right. Anything else before we move on? All right. Let's get into some knickknacks. Just some random Knicks. I have one. If you guys have one, something random about the Knicks, we'll talk about it. I want to talk about after seeing KP and how he changed Boston's offense. Let's revisit having a stretch center. And I want to preface this. I'm not talking about Mitch. I'm just saying after seeing how KP changed their offense and how much it creates issues for the defense, have you changed your thoughts about the Knicks possibly 5 years from now, Geoff? The possibilities of a stretch center, and Mitch could still be on the team actually. Has that, seeing it in action, has that changed your mind at all about the possibility of having a stretch center on, even if the stretch center is coming off the bench?
Nothing changed my mind because I thought I was right in the first place. We definitely need a stretch five, somebody that can actually shoot and put the ball in the basket. It doesn't have to be KP, even though a lot of people didn't want KP back. I wouldn't have mind having KP back. Like, he can shoot. That's what we need him for. He's actually perfect for the offense that we have with Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle, if he did play off of both of them. But, it is what it is. Eventually, it seemed like we would have to get one eventually because that's the way the NBA is going. But, yeah, as of right now, we pretty much stuck. But we definitely do need one, though. That was clear. Like, KP killed us last night.
Yeah, we call him a unicorn, and he really is.
Right.
Because on top of that, he had 4 block shots, and he's not a great rebounder, but he had 8 of them.
7
last
defensive.
night. 7 defensive,
Yep.
playing away from the basket.
Yeah, he'll never be the type of center that get offensive rebounds because he plays so far away from the basket. So
right. Caesar rephrased the question. The real question is, after seeing KP, does that change your attitude toward a cat trade?
see, again,
Talk
no.
your talk, Julius Caesar. Talk your talk.
Yeah, for people that don't want, stretch fives for some reason, they just automatically think that they're soft, maybe because they don't play close to the basket and they're shooting, jump shots. But as you can see, KP had 4 block shots on us, stuffed Mitch, on some verticality type stuff that we was talking about before when Mitch went straight up under the basket and KP just stuffed it. Yeah, he played well, and he's a hell of a player. Like, he's just injury prone, obviously, but yeah, he's definitely the type of player that we would need, to be successful, to me.
So I got something, right? How about instead of, right now we don't have a stretch five, quote unquote, right?
We don't.
Maybe we do, and we don't use him as a stretch five. Maybe if we allow Isaiah Hartenstein to shoot a little bit more from a distance, maybe we get some result. He does. He's never in position. Not never. He's rarely in position to take a long shot. Maybe we should try that way. He's not a bad shooter. Of course, he needs to have some sort of rhythm going, but if if you don't allow him to shoot, we'll never find none. Why don't we try putting him in position to take the long shot every now and then? Maybe we have one.
See, I think it do be in position. He just don't shoot it
Because
he has the ball at the top of the key a lot.
Because that's not what the team wants him to do. Maybe the team should let him know. Listen, if you open, if you have it, just pop one every now and then. I mean, they go down.
I'm for him. I'm for him shooting, more threes. But will he shoot it enough that they're going to change what they do? Like KP shoots it enough that you have to account for that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if Isaiah Hartenstein, if he shoots 2 3-pointers a game, I don't know if that changes their defense. Like KP, like that's his game. Period. Like, what are you gonna do? But that question reminded me, Ajay, of and Hartenstein is not the Joker. So let me just preface it by saying that. But the Joker wasn't the Joker at one point until the coach saw him in practice. They went on a losing streak. He said, I think it was Nurkic was there. He was the better player at the time, but they were on a losing streak. And he said, you know what? Let me just throw him in and let's just see. And then they won 3 games in a row. And then over time, he became the Joker. If he never had that opportunity, he would have been, Hartenstein maybe. I don't know. But I guess to your point, Ajay, I guess the question is, can Hartenstein be more if he was with a coach who believed that he could be more?
I believe so. But I mean, we don't know for sure, but I mean, I think we should at least. I'm just saying we could have been doing that in the preseason. we could have been trying that in the preseason. I'm just saying.
Yeah. But the real question is, after seeing KP, does that change your attitude toward a Cat change? Like I said, I like Cat. I'm not pounding the table for Cat. But not only seeing KP, I watched the first half of the Minnesota game this morning on NBA League Pass, and I think we might have to revisit how we talk about Cat from when I was watching that. They lost by 2 to, I think it was Toronto. Toronto was going to be tough defensively, by the way. They are going to be tough. Yeah. They had Gobert in the game. He just spaced the floor. He was at the top of the key, hitting threes. Gobert went out the game. They moved him to the 5. He was in the post. He faced the defender up, took 2 drives to the left, pivot, and hit a hook shot. I said, this mofo right here. You know what I mean? I said, he was just in his bag. To have a center who could play with his back to the basket and face up. And then later on in the game, he just put the ball on the floor and drove to the basket. And I said, you know what? I hadn't watched Cat in a long time. I think I kind of forgot what he could do. And defensively, he was in drop coverage in the key. But he was in there like a hawk. Like you just saw, he was like wherever the ball was. And soon as the shot went up, he just went in there and beasted the rebounds. I don't know how many rebounds he had last night, but I was like, I don't know. Everybody say he's soft. He didn't look soft to me. But to your point, Jerrell, those guys look soft because they play,
Right.
away from, away from the basket. But he had, I think, like 10 rebounds. I'm not sure how many block shots. I'm not sure how many, but he looked good to me. He
Yeah.
looked good to me. But, it made me think that he could. We'll see how it goes with the Gobert cat thing, but it looked good last night the way they did it. The spacing was there because he basically was playing a wing position when Gobert was in the game.
Right.
So that made me think that maybe a Cat Robinson could work. I prefer a Cat Randall, but it made me think that maybe a Cat Robinson could work. Because Cat can. It's not like Robinson is down there knee in space. You know what I mean? Like a Gobert, but yeah, it made me think that it could work. Go ahead, Jerrell.
I was just gonna say I'd rather have Cat at the 5 and have Randall. Like just replacing him with Randall, I don't see us. I don't know where that'll take us. Like it seemed like it's almost like a push.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like if we get rid of Randall and just have Mitch, Cat, RJ, Grimes.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, where we going? Where we didn't go before? Like I don't see it being like a big upgrade over Julius Randle. So I would rather have Cat space the floor and have like a Jason Tatum KP situation.
Right. The other thing I will say is it wouldn't hurt to have a backup center where you can move Cat to 4 and have him play some 4 minutes.
Yeah.
Minutes at the 4 behind Randall.
Definitely agree.
Randall is yeah. But I don't know. When I watch this game, offensively and defensively, he looked all right to me. Salute, Quiet Money. Appreciate you.
Only thing though, he's just another injury-prone player though, too.
As well as KP.
But that's why the soft label goes to them too. A lot of people put the soft label on them. They get injured a lot. They're big men who get injured that shoot threes all the time. Mm-hmm. So yeah, any person that played like 90s basketball is probably going to call them soft. Like that's just natural.
Right. Well, he's not making $60 million now, so you don't have to put together a package for $60 million.
I'll figure it out though.
Right. He makes $60 million. Is it next year or the year after?
Something like that.
It's down the line.
Right.
He's not making $60 million. By that time, $60 million going to be
minimum wage. Want,
huh?
My question. What do we have that Minnesota would want?
See, that's the question.
That's the question.
That's the question.
That's the question.
They have Ant-Man in the two. We don't have a 3 that's gonna. We need a 3. We don't have one to send that way. They don't want Mitchell Robinson. They have Rudy Gobert, who's what we want Mitchell Robinson to be. He is the defensive player of the year. So we're not giving up Jalen Brunson. So what exactly? We giving up RJ Barrett? They want RJ Barrett? I mean, I'm just asking.
I know, but the question was really more about not necessarily how we would get him, but does CNKP change your thoughts on having a stretch big, or as Julius Caesar said, him possibly coming? I hear what you're saying about the nitty gritty details of it, and you're right. I don't know.
Yeah,
that part I don't know.
I guess because I love Mitchell Robinson, I'm for whatever makes this team better. If it's going to win us more basketball games, let's do that. I love Mitchell Robinson, but I'm about the name on the front of the jersey, not the one on the back. So if whatever player that's going to be, if that's a stretch 5, if that's a 3-and-D wing with some size, I don't care if that's a better point guard. Whatever we need to do to win a championship, bring those people in here. I've
We
been
might need
rooting
both,
for
Jeff.
this team. I've been rooting for this team for 45 years with not a championship to to speak of. So I mean, my dad saw them win, but I didn't. Their last championship was 2 years before I was born. So you know, I don't care if you have to bring in Mickey Mouse and Pluto, and that's how we're going to win a championship. Get them here tomorrow. I'll fly them in myself.
Yeah, so in terms of how did we get two superstars or 2 stars in here, we have the assets to get one now, but you get another one by trading either Brunson or Randall. Like we don't have to imagine them being stuck here in stone. But yeah, you know, yeah, you might have to get a second one. I think we had enough now to get one. But if you wanted to get another one, Brunson or Randall would have to go in that trade. Just throwing that out there, Nick Yak. I'm not saying it's something I would do, but I'm just saying you could do it. I would like to see Randall and Brunson here with another star. But if that star comes and we got to give up one of them to bring in somebody else and it makes the team better, to Jeff's point.
And for what it's worth, Karl-Anthony Towns is a fantastic offensive player. He always has been. He's a fantastic offensive player. I just question his. It's weird because when he was drafted, his defense was supposed to be a plus for him, and then I don't know what happened, but you know he's never really realized his potential on that end of the floor, let's say. But as you say, what if the second time with Thibodeau he's able to unlock that? I don't know. They seemed to be oil and water the first time, but that was a maturity issue maybe. I don't know. I don't think you can expect a player who carries that much of an offensive load to also be a defensive anchor. Don't be a sieve now. Don't be a cone. But I don't know if you can expect those guys to be 20, 10, 5 guys, whatever they are, and still be your defensive anchor. I just think that's too much to ask. And when I saw him on defense today, he looked good. His rebounding was good. His positioning was good. But you're not going to be able to act. You got to construct your roster around them. Murray and the Joker are not good defensively, but they constructed a roster around them. Now, when you look at net rating, though, I mean, their offense is so good that the defense doesn't need to be super great, right? But I think if we have Brunson and Towns and Randall, I think our offense is going to be good too. I don't know if our defense needs to be super great, but you still have to have perimeter. It can't be bottom of the league. I'm not sure where Denver was in defense last season, but how were they able to make it work defensively?
Right. I'm for all getting the talent here and figuring it out later. Like we be having so many questions about how we gonna do this, how we gonna do that. I would rather get Cat here and then worry about how we will play defense and shape the roster how we want to shape it. Not get the talent just because we can't figure it out.
Right.
Before it even happens. So I'll get them.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Even if it's not this year, even if it's not him, you just saw how having a stretch big changes things. Even if you still have a defensive center, even if a stretch big is your backup, it just changes the key. My goodness.
Yep.
And if you got players who can drive, what are you going to do? And then you have bigs that's not used to playing out there. you know, and so you get that with KP, you get that with JJ on Memphis, who I also saw, was watching their game. You get that with Miles Turner. There's a few. You get that with Cat. Yeah. It's and I just think because Randall likes to operate in the key, and because Brunson likes to operate in the key, RJ likes to operate, like it would just really open up the driving lanes for those guys. Anything else on this before we? Yeah.
See, stuff like that I don't even want to think about until the person actually get here. Then I was just, mad that they're not here. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to fantasize about Cat all night. No.
Right. Yeah, go ahead. Anything else? Anything before I move on to the Twitter chat? I got a few things I saw on Twitter I want to ask you guys about.
Before the Twitter chat.
Mhm.
I mean, looking at yesterday's game, is anybody worried about our size again? Like, we got to go back to that. I mean, Quinn Grimes was playing pretty good defense on Jalen Brunson.
No, he wasn't.
On
He
Tatum.
was trying. Ain't nothing he could do.
I mean, the reason why in Tatum, I mean, obviously you can't really stop him. You can't do anything. But he was shooting right over him. He was shooting right over Grimes. Is that? I mean, is that going to be a concern? And Josh Hart also seemed pretty small out there. He did grab a couple of rebounds, but then he was checking KP.
Man, we out rebounded him by one, I think. So I'm not saying that it won't be a problem, but I wouldn't say that's the reason we lost, or that we lost, or that would be a problem because of last night's game. But it might be a problem though. But
no, yeah, I'm not talking about rebound. I'm talking about like playing one-on-one defense. Like, a lot of those guys are towering over our defenders.
Oh, that's Jason Tatum, man. Like he a legit 6'8". Like he's going to shoot over everybody. That's what I was saying. Like, he's unguardable. Like, I don't put, like, we should not be talking about Grimes' defense last night.
Yeah,
there's nothing Grimes would have did.
He tried though. He tried.
Oh yeah, he could try. You try. You try all you want. That's Jason Tatum, man. Like, he does that for, like, he's Jason Tatum. Like, he's like a top 5 one-on-one basketball player in the world. Like, nobody can play him one-on-one, and he can, miss shots consistently. Like, when Jason Tatum is off, it's because of him.
Yep.
Not because somebody just ultimately locked him down or something. I don't remember the last time somebody locked him down. When he misses shots, he just misses shots. Same thing with like KD or anybody else that's a good offensive player. Like, it's hard you can't lock down good offensive players. You just gotta make it hard for them, or just tackle them. But there's nothing Grimes could have did to Jason Tatum last night except for like foul him. And they were all jump shots.
Doing it good either, because he's a good free throw shooter.
Right, that's what I'm saying. They were all jump shots, so you couldn't do that.
I thought the defense was actually pretty decent last night. I don't know.
It was
our size over? Was our lack of size overwhelming last night? If that's so, I didn't. I'm asking.
We couldn't bother. I get what you're saying. Tatum is deadly, and you're not going to stop him. But we couldn't even slow him down. Like, we couldn't present any challenge for him. We couldn't put a hand in his face. Nothing. If you got a 6'8" defender, maybe you make it a little harder for him. Maybe instead of 34, he have 27.
Listen, I saw Quinn Grimes working diligently on defense. I mean, putting a lot of effort. Jason Tatum shooting as if he wasn't even there.
Like he wasn't even there.
Like
but that's maybe because of the size. I'm not saying he would shoot over everybody. I'm just wondering if somebody 6'7", 6'8" could have made it a little tougher. That's all.
And we need to talk about the other person who scored 30. He's 7'2" and was shooting from like 37 feet out. What do
Yeah.
you do with that?
Yeah.
There's not a person on the planet that could stick KP if he's making shots like that.
But a lot of times you're making shots like that because nobody is sticking you.
Yeah, but when he's 37 feet away from the basket, how do you play that?
But yeah, he did have a few shots like that, but all of his shots wasn't like that. Yeah, he
about
did have a few
KP.
shots behind the 3-point.
No, I'm talking about KP, not Tatum. Kristaps Porzingis.
Yeah,
He shot 9 3-pointers.
I understand. But the 3-point line is not 37 feet from the basket, though.
He was behind the 3-point line. That's
Right, but that's what I'm trying to say. Every shot wasn't like that, though.
Oh,
But
yeah,
you're right.
okay, gotcha.
He did have shots.
Yeah, they all went along like that. You're right.
Yeah. But he did have shots. Like, listen, he's a tough cover.
Yeah.
No,
Couldn't do nothing with that. Like,
yeah.
He's 7'2" out there and shooting like that. So he can shoot over anybody.
Right. I am concerned about the going into the season. I wasn't concerned about the 3-guard lineups. I was more concerned about Josh Hart. I'm still a little concerned. Josh Hart still had 6 rebounds last night. Like I said in the morning show, it's not like I saw the tape and saw Josh Hart getting beat, but just seeing him next to Horford, I was like,
Right.
what are we doing out here? What are we doing? But again, I would have to look it up, or if there's some stats out there about, what Hart did or how the offensive players did when they were being guarded by Josh Hart. I have no idea.
I thought he played okay.
Yeah. All right. Anybody else have any questions or anything you want to talk about in this segment that comes to mind? All right. I should have made some slides, but I'll just say it. So let's start with Mark Berman. Yeah, I may have seen this. Oh. Detroit second-year center Jalen Duren scored 17 points, 14 rebounds, 4 blocks, and 4 assists in Miami last night. Just a reminder, Knicks didn't sign Jalen Brunson without a cost. Are you okay with the fact that Jalen Brunson cost us Jalen Duren?
Yeah, I'm okay with it, but I don't necessarily think he cost us Jalen Duren. At that point, he was just a draft pick. I wanted Jalen Duren. Steph, you wanted him too. Like that was big for us during the draft time last year. We both wanted him. He is going to be a very good player, I think. I don't know. But no, I'm not. If you think that really happened and they cost us Jalen Duren, no, I would still rather have Jalen Brunson right now, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. I mean, and I think how it went down is the Knicks had to shed salary or not take on salary in order to have enough cap space to sign Jalen Brunson in free agent. Because remember, he was a free agency signing. He wasn't a trade.
Right.
And part of that was they had to get off some contracts. So the Knicks didn't take on any salary in that draft. And they gave up some second round picks, if I'm not mistaken, to get off of some contracts early, like Alec Burke, who had another year left, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
I'm not mistaken.
When Kemba has something to do with that too?
No, I think
going to Detroit.
OKC.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was to OKC, but the same thing. They had to attach some some picks as well.
Yeah. All right, well,
it might not have been OKC, but whoever it was, they had to attach picks to get off of Kemba and Alec Burke.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think if they wanted to draft Jalen Duren, they could have drafted Jalen Duren. They would just have to find a different way to shed the cap. Like if they wanted him, I don't think the Knicks wanted any young players. The same thing as the draft that just happened.
Right.
Like for the past 2 years,
pass it on.
Right. That's what I said.
Yeah,
like because of the rotation, like what young rookie was going to come in here and get minutes anyway. Right. So I don't think that's an indictment on Jalen Duren or how good he was. They wasn't going to pick anybody that year. So I don't blame Jalen Brunson for that. Right. Or them getting Jalen Brunson for that.
Right. Kitty Pay said Freezy does.
Freezy does what?
Are you saying Freezy is blaming the Knicks?
Oh.
I don't know. He could be talking about something totally different. Anybody else?
Expert troll job by Mark Berman. Well done. His New York Post reputation precedes him. Even in retirement, that man can troll.
Yep.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, so this goes out to, this is just somebody on Twitter. I don't know him. _Cassius_Clay at Killer the Back on Twitter. Shout out to him. RJ Barrett and Emmanuel Quickley's considerable amount of intangibles, two-way play, and hustle were incredible last night. Do the two Knicks stars, Brunson and Randall, have other skill sets that help the team if they don't score? I know.
I almost feel like I'm not answering that. like what?
Because I was going to answer, well, Randall had 11 points, 7 assists, and 0 turnovers. Brunson had 6 assists and 3 steals. And RJ Barrett had 3 rebounds and 2 assists. So I'm not sure about the considerable amount of
and 2 turnovers too. Like he had just many turnovers as he did assists. But yeah, no, I almost don't want to dignify that with a response.
Okay, all right. and you don't have to. First take at Real J Williams and at Stephen A. Smith think the Knicks are the 3rd best team in the East after watching us for one game.
Well, I mean, they do. They agree with me, and so I guess they know what they're talking about, Steph. But yeah, I actually think we, even though we lost, like I said, I don't want to overreact over the loss.
One game.
So, but it is just one game. We'll see. But yeah, I predicted them to be either 3 through 5. So we'll see.
You guys agree?
Basketball team. I mean, I think that was evident last night. I mean, we've gone over it before. That everything that could go wrong did go wrong, and we're right in there with a really good, and it pains me to say, a really good Celtic team, like a contender.
Really good, yeah. They are a contender.
I think they're going to be. If they're healthy, Boston might be the number 1 seed in the East, not Milwaukee. Everybody giving Milwaukee that, that title because they got Dame. But if they get somebody on that bench, Boston is going to be dangerous if they're healthy.
How are you guarding all of them?
Everybody can shoot. That was the same thing I said when I watched Denver play in the playoffs and the finals. When everybody can shoot on the floor, it is almost impossible to guard. So
they can guard you.
Yes, and they can guard you. So until we get something that's comparable to that, that's when we will become a championship contender.
Yeah,
in today's NBA.
Yeah. D Grant thinks the Sixers are the 3rd best team. Milwaukee Celtics, and a toss-up after that. That's what I think too. It's a toss-up
Yeah.
after that.
Yeah, between the Knicks, the Cavs, the Sixers, it's like anything can happen between the teams.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sixers aren't playing. Didn't they kick James Harden off the plane today or yesterday or something?
Yeah. But it did say in the article that they did come and speak to him and just tell him that they would rather he ramp himself up because he missed the preseason. Ramp yourself up before you start playing. But the damn nerve. You don't play in the season, the preseason, and you gonna just walk on the plane and play in the first game?
You couldn't get on your plane, Steph.
Come on. I just feel like that's a lot of nerve.
It's just a seat on the plane. He didn't have to play?
Nah. No. All your little shenanigans, don't even get on the plane.
Yeah, I'd have been pissed off.
You're not even in communication with us.
Yeah, he could.
It's not showing up for personal reasons. We don't know what's going on. Is it really personal reasons, or is it just that you're upset? And then you're gonna come with your little
reason is I hate
your little man bag to get on the plane. Nah,
I can't imagine this scene where he stepped on the plane. He's like, well, how'd you get past security?
Right. It was security who stopped him.
It was security who stopped him.
Oh, okay. Because I was like,
nah.
So he didn't make it to the plane.
No.
Oh,
he stopped him right before he got on the plane. He was stopped by security.
And aren't they in trouble with the NBA? Because don't you have to have like a legitimate reason to not be playing him? Like with the personal, professional.
Yeah.
No, they gotta have what they could say.
I read they have an investigation,
but they do.
Yeah,
have
I did hear that.
He hasn't showed up to anything team oriented all off season. So, yeah, I don't gotta play you. No way. Like even if you dressed, I don't gotta play you. Maybe I don't know if they was allowed to kick him off the plane or not. Have him on the plane, but. Yeah, I wouldn't have played him regardless.
And people want that guy on the team, man. I don't want that. I don't want nothing to do with that guy, man.
Have you seen Knicks fans calling for Harden?
No.
Yeah.
If they do, it ain't that many. It can't be.
Ain't that many, but there's a few people who wouldn't mind. Who's like, oh yeah, they think he can help. He could be better than Jalen Brunson.
Oh no, he be playing Grimes spot. So it'll be Jalen Brunson and James Harden in the backcourt.
You want to talk about the Matador D?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, you're right about that. You're right about that.
The no D.
Matador. They take the D out.
Ole, right to the basket.
Matador. Oh boy.
No way.
All right. So this is the last one. Like some of the stuff you can't make up. So this is Todd Michael at Toddy Waddy 1330. Shout out to you. I'm just bringing it to the panel and to the chat. I'm not calling you out. But he feels instead of holding Randall accountable one game, his stands have now just accepted he'll have these kinds of games while telling his critics they're miserable haters. You can't make this ish up. I'm not sure how you need to be held accountable for having a bad game.
Yeah, they make it seem like nobody.
Does he say that after Steph Curry has a game where he shoots 6 of 29?
Yeah, like
everybody has
a bad game. I said Jason Tatum was unguardable. I didn't say he never has a bad game. He has bad games. He had a whole bad finals series. He's still Jason Tatum, though.
Right.
But yeah, people have bad games. People have bad series, bad weeks. It happens.
And what does he propose? What is this accountability issue? You're not going to put the ball in the hands of your all-NBA player? You're not going to have your all-NBA player on the court at the end of the game? Like, what's the beef here? Like
how do you hold them accountable, right?
Fans that don't like Julius Randle wish all fans could just slap Julius Randle after every bad game.
Oh, yeah, he give us the thumbs down.
Yeah, like they just don't like him.
Thumbs down.
Because that makes no sense after one bad game. Even if Randle had a bad week, I wouldn't care because I know what he's capable of. So you know,
So
if he's
we're
missing
not
shots,
holding
he's missing
Jalen
shots.
Brunson accountable either?
Right.
Were we not holding RJ Barrett accountable because he was 8 for 20 from the field? Like
Well,
what?
no, Jeff, that's not called holding him accountable. In RJ Barrett's case, that's called a hater. We hating on RJ. That's not. We hating on him.
Yeah, it's just a bad game, man. I don't put that on anybody. Mitch had a bad game. We didn't talk about Mitch all show. He had a
Oh,
terrible
let's
game.
not. Let's not. Oh,
But that
he's
don't
so
mean
mean.
but that doesn't mean I think Mitch is going like not block any shots and have a game like that every game. Like, no. I don't think so.
Yeah. I mean, I was watching the first quarter. I mean, Mitch did get into foul trouble, but I don't know if he was super. I don't know if he was super terrible. I think some of it was foul trouble, and I think some of it was just Tibbs just wanted to go with, with Hartenstein, because there was an opportunity to put Mitch back in the game. He ended with 4.
And
I
Knicks
just
were
think,
+1 when he was on the floor, by the way.
yeah, I just think that, and let me tell you, Hartenstein might have been closer up on KP, but I don't know if it made a difference. I think Mitch was more in what do they call it? Anyway, hanging back a little bit, trying to, discourage drives and whatever, and just late getting back to KP.
Well,
Brunson,
he had a
drop
bad game. Yeah, he had a bad game plan then.
yeah. Hartenstein was a little closer, but
Swap right in his face.
Didn't
Swap right in his face. It doesn't matter.
I don't know if it made much of a difference. Yes, D Public. We talked about this is your last time, D Public Enemy. I'm a highlight your chat till you change your picture.
Yeah,
Obi
he's not
Toppin
that
is no
old.
longer part of this. No, I'm kidding. Just-
Crazy.
I'm kidding, D Public Enemy. I'm kidding.
So this is going to sound crazy, but what happened in the second and third quarter? Because correct me if I'm wrong, but KP had 15 points in the first quarter, and then he had 9 in the last 3 minutes. So that's 24 of his 30. That means he didn't do much from the second quarter till the last 6 minutes of the fourth quarter, right?
Oh, well, maybe that was the Hartenstein effect, I guess people would say.
I don't think he scored in the second quarter. The Queen, remember, we was watching the game. We were like, he hasn't done anything since his 15 points.
Yeah.
I don't know he scored anything. If he did, maybe it's like 1 basket in the second quarter.
I didn't notice because Jason Tatum was Jason Tatum. So it kind of took the attention off of KP for a little bit. And plus he played a lot of minutes, so it's not like he was going to be active. Like, I'm looking at it now. He played 38 minutes last night.
Who's that?
KP and Tatum and Brown, they all played like 38 minutes. And that's a lot.
That's a lot.
More than anybody on the Knicks played. I think 36 was our top.
Yep, RJ with 36.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
I mean, it's their problem though.
Oh,
but
yeah.
That's going to be hard. Hard for them to keep up with those types of minutes for an 82 game season.
Yeah, that ain't happening.
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough.
Horford and Pritchard is their bench. I mean, what else do they got? I mean,
yeah, you're right. And Pritchard only played 12 minutes, 13 minutes, something like that.
Did Derek White start?
Yeah.
yeah, I think he did.
He started point guard.
Well, point order too. Him and Drew are like 1 and 2s, but they're both combo guards. So
It's 2 guards, yeah.
Yeah, but Horford came off the bench because they played Tatum at the 4.
And we was talking about like Julius Randle and Brunson had bad games. We didn't say anything about Jaylen Brown.
Oh yes, he did. You're right. He had a bad game.
Terrible game, but they still end up winning and played all those minutes with their second best player not doing anything.
Dame had 39 points.
Yep, I was watching it. Yep, first game.
Never been a question if he could score. He's otherworldly at scoring the basketball. He always has been.
We just don't get those kind of players, man.
Man, we got RJ Barrett.
Scored
That's your man, RJ. That's your man.
Scored 24 points.
He did. I think RJ Barrett is going to surprise us this season, and I don't think anybody has been as hard on RJ Barrett as I have.
At least
I saw him take them 2 shots off the dribble. I said, "All right now, all right."
He hit the mid range. I was like, "Okay, we got to keep doing that."
But let's see as far as consistency is concerned.
At least if RJ is going to do something like that, he has the mentality to do it.
Right.
Like from my knowledge, everybody talks about RJ, the ones who actually know him. People in the locker room, talk about his work ethic, and he's always in the gym and stuff like that. He might not get the results that we want him to, but at least he's, we know that he's a worker. I should say same thing with IQ, same thing with Brunson and Randall. They're all workers. So,
right. We'll see. Listen, we got 2 back-to-backs. So when we hit next week, we would have played Atlanta. We would have played New Orleans. Just those 2, or do they have another game after that?
No, it's another game.
Before we come back, excuse me.
By next, we have the Cavs on Wednesday. Oh, hold on. Yeah, we play 4 times before the next show. We play the Hawks, we play the Pelicans, then on Tuesday and Wednesday we have the Cavs back to back, home and home. So, we'll be 5 games in to the season by the time next Thursday come around.
All right.
That's a lot of post games. I hope Queen's voice hold up.
I know, right?
It's a lot of mornings. That's a lot of mornings too.
I know. I welcome somebody said I welcome the surprise. RJ Barrett. I wish you luck with that one.
You gotta have faith, Keith. Keith don't like
RJ keeps going. I can respect that.
Yeah.
RJ playing like this, we're gonna have a really good year if he continues to. Again, I get the efficiency wasn't there, but
yeah, it's how he played. I get it.
Right. All right. Anything else before we get out of here? That's all I have.
Nah, man, it's just one game. I just want people to try not to overreact. That's all. Whether it's good or bad.
Good or bad, right. Right.
I don't expect IQ to shoot like that. If that's the case, we're gonna have a different conversation next week.
Right.
If he shoot like that every game, like he looked like an all-star.
Mm-hmm.
The way he was shooting. I don't like the way
his minutes have to go way up if he keeps shooting like that.
Well, that's the thing. We was talking about IQ's minutes going down. He played 28. He played 28 minutes. Like I wasn't shocked by that, but we kind of figured that his minutes would go down a little bit. And Dante DiVincenzo only played 15.
Yeah.
But he had a bad game anyway, though. So
yeah. I'm wondering, was it on this channel or on this panel, or was it Queen's Court? Somebody said your minutes in the second half is going to depend on how you play in the first half. So it could be, different minutes from game to game, depending on how guys are playing.
Only thing though, in the fourth quarter, when they did have the closing lineup in, IQ was obviously hot, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he didn't shoot the ball for 3 or 4 minutes in the stretch,
Mm-hmm.
and then when he finally got the ball with 20 seconds left, he shot that air ball. That was the first time he shot the ball in 5 minutes after being hot all game. So they have to do a better job at stuff like that.
Right.
Like he shot an air ball after having one of the best shooting nights of his career.
Right.
Before that, so gotta give him the ball.
Yeah.
He was 5 of 6 from beyond the arc, I think, before that one.
Before that, and shot an air ball on the baseline. That's not like IQ.
Right.
Nah.
Yeah.
Julu said because JB was forcing shots. I get that a little bit. I do put that on Brunson a little bit.
You know what? I'm not gonna kill Brunson for taking those
Right.
last minute shots. That's what we
Right.
paying him for. That's what we have him here for. Like I know, I get it. Brunson was hot. I mean, Brunson wasn't hot, and IQ was, but you know, when you have that mentality of the big time shot maker, like if Scottie Pippen was on, Michael Jordan's still going to take that last shot.
Yes.
He's Michael Jordan. You know what I mean? And he has faith that when I shoot the ball, it's going in. Now, I'm not saying that Jalen Brunson is Michael Jordan, but he's our closer. And so comparatively, he's going to take those shots and he wants those shots. And he's, you know, that's one of the reasons that we like him. So, you know, I have no problem with, and he missed. I mean, he missed 2 huge threes. I mean, there's no way around it, but you know, he's a 40% 3-point shooter. He's gonna make them more often than not, I think. And last year he was one of the best clutch players in the league, top 5. So got to have the ball in his hands down the stretch. I got no problem with that.
Yeah, even when they're not shooting well, that's the thing with really good players. They could turn it around on a dime.
Yep.
You know, and that's the thing with coaches. You support your best players. You have confidence in them too. You feel like, all right, he ain't shoot well, but he can turn it around at any time. You know, I don't think I'm gonna sit this guy. And then the other thing is now, let's just say Brunson and Randall not playing well and you sit them. Are the 5 guys you have in there used to being lead dogs closing out a game?
No.
Nope.
No.
That's a
We
difference.
can't even get them to take shots when they're open. You know, like we have to beg Grimes to shoot. You know, he's not ready for that kind of usage. I'm not saying he's not a good shooter. I just, you know, there's a reason why RJ Barrett is 3rd on this team in usage. I mean, because he's willing to step up and take those shots. Queen, you made that point the other night on the KOT crossover, and I thought it was a great point. Who else is going to soak
to
up
that realization, Jeff? I had to come to that realization because remember we used to talk about why does he get so much but on this team, who are you giving it to?
That's what I always used to say, that like when it come to RJ, everybody want him to shoot less, right? Who gonna tell him that? And what you think he gonna do? Shoot less because you want him to shoot less? Like RJ Barrett is an aggressive basketball player that's not gonna give his shots to Quentin Grimes. You're gonna have to take it. He's not gonna just stop shooting just because you want Quentin Grimes to get more shots. RJ don't want Quentin Grimes to get more shots because he's RJ Barrett.
Right.
Or any other scorer will have the same mentality. That's not how it works.
Yeah, hit the like button. We got 108 in the chat. We have 79 likes or AJs. So
let's get that thing to 100.
Let's get it to 100 before we get out of here.
Yeah.
Somebody made a good point on Twitter, or was it a podcast I was listening to, that we want Grimes to take more shots, but we also have to look at the minutes that he plays. You know, like he's getting 5-6 shots, but it's not like he's playing 36 minutes getting 5-6 shots. He's playing half a game.
Yep.
So last night he played 22 minutes, 23 minutes.
23.
He got 7 shots. So you think had he played like a regular starter, like 34, whatever, maybe he would have got 10 or 11, you know? So some of it is because he's not playing a lot of minutes. He's only playing like half a game. No, last year he played like 28, I think.
Yeah, I think so. And plus, since most of his shots are 3-pointers, he's a 3-and-D dude. How many threes do you want him shooting a game? Like he shot 7 shots, like you said, Steph. 6 of them was threes. So you want him taking 14 shots? Do you want him taking 14 threes a game? Like that's not gonna happen. Not a consistent basis, no.
Um, no, we Pablo M. We don't want 4 ISO players. I'm not sure what you guys. What's an ISO player? So there's ISO play, and there's ISO players. If by ISO player you mean a guy that can get their own shot, I want 12. I want 12 players that can get their own shot if they need to. Now, do I want players just going ISO in every possession and everybody standing around? No, I don't want that. But do I want ISO players? Yes. Those are players that can get their own shot. Those are the players you use in ISO. You got to be able to get your own shot.
Just like I talked about Jason Tatum ad nauseum this show.
Yeah.
He's unguardable. So yeah, give me 12 Jason Tatums.
Right.
And here's the other thing too about the ISO. I mean, it's by design because ISO play tends to lead to fewer turnovers, which helps us get our numbers up because we don't shoot the ball well. So we had 20 more shots than Boston did.
20.
And 20. It was 97 to 77. Part of that formula is ISO so that we have with very few turnovers. I think we only turned the ball over 9 times.
Yeah.
Okay. And we crashed the offensive glass really hard. That, like it or hate it, that is the formula with this current crew that we have that gets them the extra possessions that to compensate for the fact that we have the Ray Charles glasses on most of the time, you know? So, you know, it's not going to be in the Basketball Museum of Art. Okay, it's not. You know, I think we get caught up in aesthetics as opposed to practicality sometimes. You know, like Jalen Brunson wasn't last night, but for his career is one of the most efficient ISO players in the game. Like he finishes almost half his shots in isolation and makes them. Like, why would you not want to do that? Like, name me a better play than that. Honestly, name me a better play. Name me a higher percentage play on this Knick team than that. And if you can, then okay, let's run it. But I'll sit and listen while you come up with the play.
And it's not like he does it every time down the court.
Right.
You know? But I think, how do we find the balance between sharing the ball? Oh my God, I don't even believe I'm saying this. Sharing the ball. And you have guys that can go get it. And Randall and Brunson. And also giving them that opportunity to go and get it.
Okay,
Because I think... Go ahead, Jeff.
We had 25 assists last night, and all 3 of our top 3 scorers had 20 shots apiece.
I'm almost at the point. I don't understand why people are complaining about the offense and not the defense. Like they had 11 blocks to our 0. Like we had 20 more shots than them, more assists, less turnovers, but people are complaining about our offense.
Because we didn't make shots.
We shot 37%, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that was
48.
inflated.
They shot 48.
48.
Yep. But people are complaining about our offense compared to our defense.
Yeah. Because even last season, we were top 5 in offensive rating.
Yep.
And 19 in defensive rating. And then I went back and I said, whoa, let me do it from when we went to the 9-man rotation. Maybe it was much better. It went from 19 to 17. And I hear what you're saying, Jeff. There was only 1 point. But maybe that 1 point was significant over 80, over 80, you know, more over 82 games. You're like, oh, it's just percentage points, you know, but
you're right.
I don't know. But in the playoffs, they were the number 1 or number 2 team in the playoffs. And I'm not sure Miami scored over 100 points on us in the playoffs in any of those games. And if they did, it was probably just one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want anything in the chat. Any questions? Okay. So Julius Caesar says, so why is he even starting? Why not start IQ? I think this is something we talked about here.
Yeah.
I'm on so many panels. I don't even know where we talked about it.
We talked about it. Some of us don't have a problem with that.
Right.
We ain't Tibbs though. Like I personally don't have a problem with starting IQ.
Right.
But the numbers say we're very good with Grimes as a starter. So I mean, you know,
I don't think we're that far off defensively with IQ. Offensively, we may not be as.
to me, the best units all have Grimes and Quickley playing together. Like if you look at all the numbers off numbers when Grimes and Quickley are on the court together, that combination is fire.
But that's not a starting lineup. What are the numbers with Brunson and Grimes and Brunson and IQ?
Yeah, you got to pick one because RJ not going nowhere. So you got to pick one of them. Like which would you?
I understand that. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying what the numbers say. I'm not saying what the starting lineup is going to be. I'm just saying that the Grimes and IQ lineups together are highly effective. That's my only point. And Grimes in the starting lineup has not been a negative. And the starting lineup wasn't great yesterday, but that was more a function of Brunson and Randall not being able to hit the broadside of a barn than it was anything else.
It's been working, but it's possible that IQ and Brunson could be better.
Sure.
It's possible it could be better. I mean, I think the way our team is constructed, the issue is who's handling the ball in the second unit. Is DiVincenzo, can he be that for us? Just say if IQ wasn't a starting lineup, can he be that for us?
I think that's probably one of the main reasons why you got to keep IQ coming off the bench, because you do need that quarterback, that quarterbacking in the second unit. You do need somebody to run the offense.
And the way this team is constructed, there's certain things we got to have Mitch because we don't have perimeter defenders. We got to have Mitch, elite offensive rebounder, because we're not shooting. We got to have Grimes because he doesn't command the ball, and we have high. It's like a puzzle where, maybe not in and of itself that player is the best player, but for this particular team, this is what it is. But let me tell you, I would love to see how a Brunson IQ pairing works, because I love having two ball handlers in that vacuum. Both of them could play on and off the ball. That's a dynamic backcourt.
Yep.
Now we can get Brunson's 40% catch and shoot ability because you got Quickley who can, can set him up, and vice versa. Both of those guys can play on and off the ball. I don't think it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
Right.
But I just like the potential of it. And Quickley, he shoots well off the catch too. I don't know what his numbers are, but he shoots well off the catch also. But it's not going to happen.
I don't think so either.
Do you think if we got a different, like a bigger wing that's not RJ Barrett, like, I don't know,
you're trying to get rid of RJ Barrett, man.
But
Geoff was not impressed with RJ Barrett yesterday.
At all.
RJ Barrett Hive, at least I'm open to the possibility from what I saw yesterday that things could be a changing. But I'm not getting a lot of support up here. Basically,
no.
It's been 4 years, and this panel is basically telling me we've seen this before.
Yes.
He's had stretches before, 10 games, 20 games. They telling me they need a season.
I said I want
from the panel. We need a season.
I need that to be RJ's floor.
Amen.
Not his ceiling, or not his like a good game from him is that.
Mm-hmm.
I want that to be his game, period. Because he's capable of being better than that.
If that's his floor, man, that would be amazing. But
Right.
it ain't.
Jeff, you pretty confident.
No,
You're pretty
not
confident.
right now. Not right now.
Not right now.
Until he shows us.
Look, I'm wrong all the time, Queen. I'm not afraid to be wrong. Now, you'd say enough things on here, you're going to have some takes that age poorly.
Yeah.
And
Tell me about it.
And so let it be one. I don't care. Yeah, somebody out there is keeping receipts, and they can play this over and over on repeat. Look at this moron. You hear what he said?
Right.
I'll eat that crow. I have no problem.
Word.
Knicks are winning.
We still
I'll eat a double portion.
We still gotta go to work in the morning. I don't care.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't care at all. Go ahead and say it.
All right. I'm asking for some fantasy advice, and then we out of here.
Okay.
So Oubre was somebody not in our. This is another league.
I was about to say I'm not answering this stuff.
Yeah, no, this isn't another league. This is another league. Oubre is already gone in our league. I think he was drafted.
Yeah.
But he's on the waiver wire. And he had a really good game. And I thought he would have a good season because Philly doesn't really have anybody to lead their bench. So he had 27 points, 4 rebounds, a steal, but he's not really efficient. And I'm playing in a league unlike ours, Jerrell, where field goal percentage and free throw percentage count. Should I jump on this? Should I pick him up?
Who you dropping?
This is the question. At the end of my bench, the very end of my bench is Ben Simmons, who I should not have picked up in a field goal free throw percentage league. But Ben Simmons, Bogdanovich from Atlanta, and Kobe White, who's now starting in Chicago. These were my last. No, Ben Simmons wasn't my last 3 pick, but White and Bogdanovich was my last 2.
How many minutes did Bogdanovich play in their game? So I'm a big minutes person when it comes to fantasy. Like if you don't get the right amount of minutes, like you're not going to consistently do anything. So if you think Oubre is going to average more minutes than either one of those dudes, then you should get him.
He had 25 minutes. Bogdanovich had 25. And
Oubre had 27. So yeah, that's not a short sample size. It's only been 1 game. So
yeah, maybe I'll just
if you hold on though, if he had 27, you're gonna have to pick him up tonight. Somebody else gonna pick him up.
That's where I'm at now. And then you got to put money. I don't know if I want to put money because you get $100 to use.
You got the fab, you got the money. Okay, you want one of those leagues. That's fun.
Yeah, that's fun. So like maybe I'll put $1. If somebody else want to come, and put $5 and get Kelly Oubre to take him. Because he'll shoot you out of the league too. He's not very efficient.
Sometimes.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Poor man's RJ Barrett.
Yeah. Their stats were pretty similar last season, though. He's at his ceiling, Oubre, and there's a chance that RJ Barrett, may not be near his. But their stats were eerily the same last season.
You see Maxey had 31 and 8 tonight?
Yes.
Woo.
Yes.
That kid's a star.
Yeah, maybe I'll add a segment going around the league.
Okay.
And we could just talk about different things going around the league. I'll add that.
What do y'all think of Wemby?
I listened to the game on my way back. I didn't watch it.
I watched the whole thing.
I watched the game.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be a superstar, if that's your question.
Yeah. He's kind of fun.
Like he is fun to watch, but he looks so flimsy though. I mean, my God, he looks like a toothpick out there.
Man, you
see him handling the ball though?
Handling the ball, Steph. And like he only scored 15 points. It's not like he was killing all game. But at one point in the fourth quarter, he had I think he had 9 straight. Like he didn't have a good game by any stretch of the imagination, like he was killing anything, but you could just see the potential and what he's capable of,
Mm-hmm.
unguardable. He's one
Right.
of those unguardable people.
Yeah.
And the block
Already.
shots.
Yeah.
Already.
Yeah.
I think the players on he's playing against, they're kind of in awe. They've never seen this. They're like, what the hell is this?
Never seen
Like
it.
that, like they don't know what to do with him.
Yeah.
Like it's like, how do you check this guy?
You don't.
Yeah. Yeah. He walked in and is all black. And I forgot what Doc Rivers said. He's something like, yo, he walking in like he ready for business.
And he was.
Did you see that him or did you hear that him and Tim Duncan in their first game had like the exact same stat line?
No, that's
Like
wild.
the exact same stat line, like 15, and I forgot what he had, but like down to the field goal percentage and everything.
That's crazy.
They
Yeah.
got it in two different ways, but you know the stats are I think were identical, something like that. I forgot how many
That's
rebounds.
pretty
he
good
had.
company.
It was 15 and something.
Yeah. For sure. Anything else around the league real quick that caught your eye?
Around the league. Yeah, since I did watch that game, just the dynamic between Luka and Kyrie still.
Yeah.
They still going back and forth while like who will take this shot, who could take that shot. I saw it a lot in the fourth quarter, especially in crunch time. Like Kyrie took a shot like towards the end, missed it. Luka got it and then hit the dagger for the game winner. Like stuff like that. Like they'll go back and forth with like who's gonna, you know, take what shot in the fourth quarter. That's all. Like they still
That's a
work
good problem to have.
Yeah, that's definitely a good problem to have. So you can tell they're still working on that because they're both obviously two unguardable players. Like, so when you have two guards like that, like who can handle the ball like that, like what do you do?
Right.
Like they don't have any. Neither one of them have any deficiencies when it comes to the offensive side of the ball. So in the fourth quarter, if you're both clutch, you
Mhm.
both can pass, you both can handle the ball, you both can shoot. If I'm Kyrie Irving, am I taking that shot or am I just giving the ball to Luka and vice versa?
Right. How did Lively look? He's on the waiver wire too.
Lively look very, very good. So he played a lot of minutes too. And I think he had a double for the first game.
16 points, 10 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 1 block.
Nice. See,
Ooh, that's a nice fantasy line.
I actually picked him up this morning in one of my leagues.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
He might be the one. He might be the one.
yep.
Put your dollar on Lively, not on Oubre.
On Oubre, right?
I'm about to say, Steph, like he played 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's not like Keebler was in foul trouble. I think he only had like 3 or 4 fouls. So like he played minutes because he played minutes, not because somebody was in foul trouble.
Right. Right.
I'm looking at it now. Lively was a plus 20.
Ooh.
When the closest person was Luka. Well, no, Tim Hardaway Jr. was a plus 9, but he was a plus 20. Played 30 minutes, 7 for 8 from the field, 16 points, 10 rebounds, like Steph said. 2 from 3 from the free throw line, so he could shoot free throws too.
Yeah. In a league where the league I'm playing in, field goal and free throw percentage matter. That'll be 4 centers for me, but all right.
Hey, centers ain't like they used to be. They shoot threes and stuff now, Steph. So that's a category you could add, depending on the centers that you
That's
have.
true. No, Siakam can hit the, Siakam and who's my other one? Kessler can. Jabari Smith can.
In Eru's league, I have Wembley, Chet, and Cat on the team. Those are my first 3 picks, I think.
You took Wemby
In the first round
and still was able to get Cat.
Yep.
Wow.
Got cat in the sack on the way back.
Wow.
People down on him, think he's soft.
Yeah, same thing with Sabonis. He was sitting there at 24.
Wow, you got Sabonis.
Sabonis?
I wasn't trying to get Sabonis. I got Giannis at 5, so I'm looking for a guard. I'm trying to get Giannis, Cade Cunningham, and DeJounte Murray. Like I'm trying to get or LaMelo Ball, like some assists, some guards. So the second round comes up. I'm like, how can I pass on Sabonis? I know I already got Giannis, but how can you pass on Sabonis? He giving you 7 assists too, like a guard. So I just took him.
Yeah. That's a gift.
That was
And I got that in the 20 team league, Steph. Eruz is still 20.
oh, I can't do a 20 team league anymore. You talk about depression? No.
You should have
You
saw
go to that waiver wire. I don't know if anybody's ever grown up poor. I've said this before. Like the end of the month, going to the pantry, ain't nothing in there. I was like, I can't do these 20 leagues.
They're eating surf sandwich.
Right.
I gotta eat the can of black eyed peas again.
Right.
The can of black eyed peas, like she make them fresh. Can black eyed peas. Yeah.
Oh boy. Anyway, we out of here. We'll keep your eyes on what's going on around the NBA if you're into it, and we'll add that segment, even if you just want to keep an eye on the Atlantic Division or the Eastern Conference. And we'll talk about that. Chad, I appreciate you always rocking. We on our way out. We got 90 in the chat now, 87 likes. So we need 3 more likes. 3 people in here is holding back. All right.
You know who you are.
Right. Paris Doug, I appreciate you. Nick Yak, Knicks 100 at GM. I can't mention everyone. Julius Caesar, Sherman, who was in here early, Dirty Dancer, D Grant, Keith Turner.
Mega hit.
Mega
every
NYK.
time.
Appreciate you.
Every show.
Yep. Nick Yak.
Wiz came through.
Wiz came through. Bobby Santiago.
Smoking Nick came through.
Smoking Nick came through. Appreciate you.
Shout out Stafford Don.
Stafford came through too early.
Appreciate Stafford, of course. Stafford's going to be with me Saturday and Sunday. Geoff may be with me Saturday morning for the morning show. Coach, is that Sierra 617? Coach, appreciate you always rocking.
David G. I don't know if you said him.
JJ.
Man.
JJ, of course. Yes. Trav B.
Yes, Trav was in there.
Happy Ryan, appreciate you.
See, when you on Steph chat, you gotta scroll all the way up. You be on my little chat.
Anthony D was in the house earlier too.
Yes, Anthony D was in the chat.
Yes,
I know.
Quiet Money was.
Quiet Money, 30 days.
You shouted out Brooklyn Butch earlier.
Brooklyn, I shouted out Brooklyn Butch. Earl Lady in the chef was fine. 2 Knicks chicks. Appreciate you.
And your favorite Paris Dog. No
Paris Dog. Yes. Corey Lee. I ain't seen Greg. I haven't seen Greg in a minute. Greg came by. Appreciate you, Greg. Mega NYK, we said, right?
Yep.
Yeah. He always rocking.
Nick, is it Knicks are nice? I know it was Pudge nice, but I think he changed it, right?
Yes, that's Pudge. It's Knicks are nice, but
Knicks are nice. Appreciate you. I have the link to the 2 Knicks chicks pinned to the top of the chat, so please check them out. Go to their channel, and subscribe. Julius Caesar, Mike Boy. You right. I'm still scrolling. All right. I don't think we're gonna.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I'm just like, man,
that's a good thing.
Yeah, Dwayne Dennis, I appreciate you as well. Until next time, family.
You tune in, that means you're feeling the vibe. The bell rung, you already been subscribed. Right now, the queen, she on live. Right now. Please pull over with no phoning when you drive. Dope Soul Sporting with the talk. First lady from New York, Brooklyn. All my people, you rocking with the chat. Hit that. The like button would tell me where you at. You know, step from the MBK. Born and raised up MBK. Hey, real lady, where she holding it down. No matter way how you feel, she gon' greet you with a smile.
Sister, you one of a kind.
Yes.
Oh, sister, it's time you
That's
shine.